Hey everyone, welcome back to Smallick Wellness. In light of the new year and the new food pyramid coming out, we are going to be talking about how to live clean. And the reason why I wanted to make this video is because sometimes it can be overwhelming when you find out that all of these things are kind of nuanced and you can't really just go to the grocery store or market and buy anything. You kind of have to be cognizant about everything that you're bringing into your home, putting in and on your body. So this is going to be very helpful for especially newbies, but anyone who's trying to have a wellness journey and get a little bit more healthy. And I've found that this method of clean living tends to be a little bit easier, because when you try and think, oh my God, I have to change everything in my house right now, it can be very overwhelming, and then you just don't start because you just can't make a decision on where to start. So this is to help out kind of an order of where you can start that makes it easier, and what I have found works the best for cleaning up the home. If you've already started your wellness journey, this information is still really great. You can pick and choose where you want to start. If you find, I don't want to start, where you are, I want to start in this place, then that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through household products and cleaners first. Then we're going to do body care and hygiene care. Then we're going to get to cosmetics, and then finally food. I find that food tends to be the hardest reset for everybody. And it's not just because it's hard, like in general, to change what you eat, but we're on a schedule. We have what we like. We don't have to think about it anymore. It's one less decision, so we don't have decision fatigue. When you want to change up the food, it tends to create a lot of decision fatigue. So you can choose to kind of do food and something else, or just start where it's easier and allow the process to kind of happen naturally as it goes. It gets easier and you just pick the easiest place to start, and then it gets easier as you choose the next best thing. So my advice is to choose one thing to master, get that down, get that in your routine and schedule so you don't have to actively make a decision about it, and then move on to the next. It makes cleaning up the home easier, and it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. The first topic that we are going to dive into is household products and cleaners. And I love this because these are probably some of the most toxic things that we can change in our home. There's even a term in the medical space called obesogens, and that's where kind of these chemicals and cleaners come into play. It's not going to help everybody in this capacity, and I have seen it help a lot of people just lose weight. I've had a lot of people, and you hear a lot of people in this functional medicine space say, all I did was change my household cleaners and I dropped 5 pounds, I dropped 10 pounds. That's not to say it's going to be for everybody. I did it and I didn't lose any weight. However, these can potentiate your body's ability to hold on to fat and then even create its own fat. These are off-gassing all of the time. So some of these harsh cleaners, even when you're not actively using them, you can still be getting the negative effects of these chemicals because they constantly are off-gassing, just sitting underneath your sink. Bleach is one of the biggest ones. I used to use bleach all the time. I loved it. I would put bleach in my toilet, my shower, my sinks. I would leave for work for the day, come home, rinse them out, flush the toilet, and you've got a sparkling clean bathroom. And it's just too harsh, especially when you have like pets and small children. The toxicity and the inhalants that you do create a lot of inflammation, and it is a very harsh chemical. So I would recommend switching to vinegar. Now, vinegar is not EPA registered, and I don't know why, to be honest. So you can't really make claims regarding vinegar, but I can tell you what I have noticed in changing my household to vinegar. It's going on probably about maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years at this point, that I've kind of I use it as an all-purpose cleaner, and I make it myself. So I buy these gallons and I put essential oils straight into this gallon. You don't have to do that. You can just make, your bottle as is, and it's literally an all-purpose cleaner. I use it for the bathroom, I use it for the kitchen. So I use this with baking soda on my stove and my inside of my oven, on my shower. I use it with baking soda. So you can just use this on surfaces, but if you need a little bit more like scrubbing, and sometimes it does take a little bit more elbow grease, but you can pair it with baking soda and let it set for 5-10 minutes. It works wonders. You can dilute it. So in this particular formula that me and one of my friends kind of came up with and created, you can use it straight. I just use it straight. Some people can't stand the smell of vinegar straight, so they'll dilute it. And you can do a 1-to-1, so just do half vinegar, half water, or you can do a 1/3. Some people is even more potent, so you do like a 1-to-3. So 1 part vinegar, 3 parts water. And I'll tell you right now what my formula is. I'll tell you how to put it into the gallon, so you can just let it set and you can refill your bottles, etc., etc. Or you can make it per bottle. Some people just want to do it per bottle, and that's fine too. So I do 2 drops per ounce of clove and sweet orange. Clove and sweet orange are going to be a lot of your disinfectant parts. It's going to cut grease. So sweet orange in particular cuts grease very, very well. And then I do 1 drop per ounce of lavender, eucalyptus globulus, lemon, and peppermint. Lavender and eucalyptus are disinfectants. They can help with bacteria and eliminate those. They also smell really nice. Lemon is also for the smell. Vinegar is very potent, but lemon is very potent, so you can get that kind of fresh smell. And then peppermint as well. Peppermint's just good, kind of just all around, to add peppermint in there. If you want to just add it to the full gallon, I don't like to count, to 256 drops or 128 drops, because that's how many ounces are in this gallon. I did it by stems, and I don't know if that's the proper terminology, but when you open these, whatever your stem is, that's how much you're going to get in your stem for each one. So you're going to do 9 stems, full stems of clove and sweet orange per bottle, and then you're going to do 4.5 stems of the lavender, eucalyptus globulus, lemon, and peppermint. And I always use Puridior. I am not sponsored, but these are the cheapest essential oils that I have found that are on the market, and they work fabulous. They're pure. It's a family-owned company, so you're supporting a small business. It's USDA organic. I love these for the price point. It's amazing, because essential oils can get pretty pricey when you do some of the other options. So this is the most cost-effective option that I have found on the market today. The Puridior does not have everything. I get clove from another company called Vina or Vine Vita. I'm not sure how you say it. And by the way, I'll link all of the brands and other options in the detail section under this video, so that way you don't have to fervently write it down or go back and re-listen or screenshot the transcript. You can simply just look in the notes below, and I'll have everything detailed for you, so you can just copy paste it. If you are not open to utilizing vinegar as your new cleaning solution for your home with baking soda, which ends up saving people money most of the time, it can end up being way cheaper when you do it this way. Even with the essential oils, they last a long time. But you can use, I really like Branch Basics, and there's a couple of others. I'll list those. If you want to actually just get a cleaning product, I'll give you options for that too. But this is my favorite, and it's the cheapest that I found for my family. The next thing that we kind of want to tackle is your dishwasher detergent. Everything that you're washing things with, like your clothes and your dishes, anything that you consume and put in your mouth, you want to be careful about what you're putting on that thing. And a lot of dishwasher detergent will leave residue. So whatever detergent you're using, count that as you're consuming it as well. So be very cognizant and careful about your dishwasher detergent. We use Blue Land. Not everybody likes Blue Land. You can actually use the all-purpose cleaner. You can use vinegar in the dishwasher. Laundry detergent, again, I just use straight vinegar. I don't even dilute it for the wash. I want that full potent vinegar in my laundry. And I also have some really safe brands for laundry detergent, so I can link that below. But vinegar, man, it's amazing. Vinegar does the job. And so I want to give you my laundry detergent solution. It's a little bit different. So I do 1 drop per ounce of lavender, eucalyptus globulus, sweet orange, and peppermint. And that's what I use for my laundry detergent. And that would be, if you're putting it in the full gallon, it's 4.5 stems of each of those, the 4 essential oils per gallon. And that's my favorite. It's super simple. It's super quick. It lasts a long time. The next thing that I kind of want to talk to you about is dish soap. Your dish soap is very important. So we have switched to block soap on everything. A lot of these other brands, they can offer you some dish soap that you can use. I want to show you what it looks like, how our sink is kind of set up and what we do. We just have a dish block and we have a scrubby. You just put the scrubby right over the dish block and you use it to wash your dishes. You can use it to scrub them, put them in the dishwasher, or hand washing and put them on the hand dry rack. Okay, that's a really nice segue. We want to eliminate sodium lauryl sulfate. Lots of liquid soaps have to use sodium lauryl sulfate, also known as SLS, or other forms like it, and they use it to get really, really sudsy. And you don't want that. Sodium lauryl sulfate has been linked to lots of issues, especially in the skin and the hair. So we want to be very particular when you're purchasing something. If there's nothing else that you do for soaps, like shampoo, hand soap, body wash, be very particular and choose things without sodium lauryl sulfate. And I've switched everything to bar soap in my house. So you'll find on the counters, you'll find bar soap, and you don't have to like take it out of the bowl. You don't have to get all messy with it. I literally just have a silicone like pad underneath the bar. You literally just rub your hand on the bar like this, and then you rub your hands together and wash them. You don't even have to pick up the bar of soap ever. So that's why I like it, and I found a really awesome clean method of utilizing that. You eliminate sodium lauryl sulfate. I typically get my bar soaps from like farmers markets, or a lot of times you can find cool little markets in the summer and the winter. And I kind of just buy a couple bar soaps for my body and for our hands, like on the sinks, as I'm out doing those from homemade soaps that list their ingredients. A lot of times you'll see their ingredients and then what they have smell. They usually will use essential oils, and that's what I recommend using. So like your shampoos and body wash, I can link some brands that I absolutely love, but I use bar soap and I use bar conditioner now. Lots of people are super adverse to that. It's not hard. You just take the bar soap and you just kind of like rub it on your hair like that. Same with the conditioner. You kind of just paint it in your hair. You just kind of go like this. I start at the bottom and then I work my way up to my scalp and I just go like this with it and then I massage. It's super simple, super easy, and it's still nuanced, and you still have to be particular about the shampoo and conditioner you choose. I only have a couple that I really, really, truly like, and I've used quite a few, and the two that I absolutely love, I'm very particular about in this brand. Other options in this brand, they have not worked well. With these other two, I have seen a regrowth in my hair. I have seen my hair come back and become much more healthy with just these few options. So I'm going to link and be very detailed about the product when it comes to shampoos and conditioners. And then if you have a little bit of a higher price point, or you're just like, I'm not doing bar at all, there are only a few brands that I really like for liquid shampoo and conditioner. So I'll link those too. And if anybody has any other clean recommendations that I don't know about, you can always send a comment. You can link it and say, hey, I use this, check out the ingredients here. That way we can all, it's like a community. Like, this isn't the end all be all, my word is the cleanest products. We're all in this kind of learning game together, and no one can certainly know everything that's out there all the time. So this is just what I have found. If you have found something else, please feel free to comment and let me and our community know what else is clean out there and what other options we have. I think that covers pretty much the soapy part. Now I kind of want to get into, we're still on body and hygiene. I kind of want to get into like skincare, skin routines, and then we're going to get into some fragrances and perfumes. So skincare and face care. This is kind of, you have to kind of go back to biology, and not everything that you know and has been sold to you is going to be fully true. So we know, based on basic science that we learned when we were in grade school or middle school, that like dissolves like, right? So everything on your face is kind of going to have oils. Your face makes oils. It's oil based. So it would make sense that when you're cleaning and providing skincare, that you would really want an oil-based product. You can use water-based products, but when you talk about cleansing in particular, you really want an oil-based cleanser because like dissolves like. So on your face, all of your dirt and grime is going to be in those oils that your face produces. So you want an oil cleanser to dissolve all of that and truly clean your face. When you just use water, it can actually repel and you're not really getting into your skin. You're just kind of sloughing off what's on your face, which is fine. In the morning, I just kind of slough off the sweat and grime of my face with water. But when I am cleaning my face at the end of the day, I use an oil-based cleanser. And I do moisturize with oils. If you use the right oils, it's not going to leave residue on your face. Your skin is going to love oil-based moisturizer. And I make my own. It's cheap. You can go and find all of these wholesome companies that make tons of products that you can use, and I'll link them below, and that way you have the option. But I have found that the cheapest and best thing for my face is actually just using oils and kind of making my own blends of what I like. So I use Pure, like I mentioned previously. They have, I'm telling you, they have the most high quality product for their price point. I love it. It's not going to break your bank. So you can use like argan oil, you can use tamanu oil, you can use almond oil. There's so many oils that you can use. And I'm going to give you my blend. So I have an adult blend. So anyone over 24 who needs to make sure that their skin stays supple, you eliminate aging, you want to start that at 24. So anybody over the age of 24, I have a blend for them. And then when you're younger, you don't really need to worry about anti-aging. You just need to worry about cleaning and making sure that your skin turnover is good because you're hormonal, your hormones are going all over the place. Teenagers is constantly changing. So I have a cleaner, more simple version for people under the age of 24. So my face wash, so this is what I put on at night to cleanse off the dirt and grime of the day. I use a 4-ounce amber glass pumper, and I do 80 drops of tea tree oil in there. You can use eucalyptus, you can use any other cleanser that works for your face. I have found that my face responds really well to tea tree oil. And that works really well for people who have like PCOS, who are more prone to high testosterone. If you have high testosterone, that works really well. You can also switch that out for eucalyptus. Eucalyptus and tea tree can be like interchangeable when you talk about essential oils. So if tea tree oil doesn't do the trick for you, just put eucalyptus in there. And then I put half and half. So after I put the tea tree oil in, I do half of the bottle, which is 2 ounces of fractionated carrier coconut oil. Again, I get it from Pure. You can use argan oil, you can use whatever you want. Coconut oil is just a little bit thinner, and I think it just cleans better, but you do what works for you and what you like the best, what feels good for your skin. And then sometimes if you're wearing makeup, you'll need like a makeup remover oil. So I just have mine be makeup remover and cleanser all in one. It's not going to hurt if you're not wearing makeup. So I get a camellia oil. And as of right now, the only camellia oil that I can find on the market, just pure camellia oil, is from Tatcha. So that's what I use. I do half and half. But you don't have to use the camellia oil. I think the coconut oil would work just fine if you don't want to get that or look for it or pay for it. So that's what I use to clean. I put that on, I brush my teeth, and then I wash my face afterwards. So that way it's kind of set in. Then my face lotion, what I use to moisturize my face. This is for acne prone and anti-aging. So it's a little 15 ml pumper that I use. It's amber glass pumper. I do 3 drops of lavender, 5 drops of eucalyptus globulus, turmeric, peppermint oil. Now you can take out that peppermint oil. It's if you have larger pores, peppermint can kind of help to have a seemingly shrinking effect on those pores. But if you don't have a pore issue or you don't think that your pores look large, then you can take the peppermint out. I do 7 to 10 drops of frankincense. This is super anti-aging, but some people are a little bit more sensitive to frankincense. So start at 7 and you can increase to 10 if you can tolerate it. If you want some vitamin E and you want some castor oil in there, just do a couple like splashes of each. You don't need a ton of vitamin E and you don't need a ton of castor oil. Castor oil is very thick. So I'll just do like a stem or 2 of vitamin E oil and castor oil. I love castor oil because it's very moisturizing and it'll help to penetrate your skin. So it'll help all of the things that you're putting on your face to just penetrate a little bit deeper, so you're getting the most bang for your buck for dealing with your fine lines and wrinkles. And then I'll fill the rest of the way. I do half tamanu oil and then half jojoba or argan oil. Just depends on what I have and how I'm feeling, but jojoba and argan are pretty interchangeable. They have their own aspects, but you can use them kind of interchangeably throughout your skincare. This is also great for dry to oily skin. So if you have a combo skin, this formula is also really great for that. If you got teens that you're trying to just have clean and you're not trying to break your bank with all this like drunk elephant and stuff and going to Sephora, I have a really awesome one. It's very simple. You do 3 drops of lavender oil, 4 drops of eucalyptus globulus. I do 1 drop of frankincense for the antibacterial and just total cleansing effect of frankincense. So I only do 1 drop. You can leave that out if you want. And then I fill the whole thing with jojoba oil or argan oil. And that's it. Super simple. They don't need anything crazy. They don't need the tamanu oil. They don't need all of that. They don't need any anti-aging whatchamacallit. Super simple for your teens or anyone under the age of 24. Okay, so that is kind of face care. Now, it's nuanced. Not everybody wants to jump in and start doing everything oil. So if you start with a face wash and then you want to do other stuff, that's great. I have a couple of brands that I really, really love for skincare. Primally Pure is one of them. Anything tallow-based is amazing. Again, it's kind of oil, but tallow is up and coming. You've got tons of companies doing tallow and honey, which is amazing. It's like a super blend for your face. But I love Primally Pure. I use their baby balm, and it's called baby balm, but it's the most cost effective and it's just very plain. So I use that as a tallow if I'm going to put any tallow on my face, which sometimes I do. And then Nimi Skincare I think is pretty clean. Farmhouse Fresh I think is pretty clean. So if anyone's not listing their full list of ingredients, be very leery and skeptical. I would never purchase something where they don't disclose all of their full ingredient list. So some of these places like Farmhouse Fresh, you have to be careful because they do use some fragrances. They say they're natural, but you got to be careful with fragrance. You really want to keep it away. So that kind of pulls us back into fragrance, perfumes, body sprays, all of that. You really want to get away from fragrance. It is a huge and widely known endocrine disruptor. What is an endocrine disruptor? It's going to mess with your hormones, essentially. It's going to mess with your metabolic hormones. It's going to mess with your cycling hormones. It's going to mess with your cortisol. I noticed when I stopped using my favorite body spray that a lot of things started to clear up and I was able to kind of regulate in my cycles as a female much better. I was able to get my cortisol regulated where I was having difficulty. My cycles were kind of all over the place. I wasn't having normal symptoms during my cycles. And I moved away from using that body spray that I was using. And now I really just use essential oils. If you're wanting more of a perfumey type, you can go to Vina Vita. So make sure that when you're going and you're buying the scent that you want, they have like one that you can put in diffusers and then they have one that you can put in like lotions and skincare. And that's what I use. I'll put it in my oils for my lotion, like the jojoba oil. I'll put it in my jojoba oil to make it smell nice to put all over my body. And that's kind of what I use for perfumes. Sometimes if I'm in a pinch and running late, I'll just dip my finger in there and I'll just dab it right here and go like this, or dab it on my neck, kind of like in the olden days when you use perfume. And I use it straight like that. But most of the time I just put it in my body lotion and then just kind of rub it all over me before I put on my clothes. So if you change one thing about your body care or skincare, I would say eliminate fragrance. If you're not wanting to dive all in or make the decision to switch to oil-based products or anything like that, make the decision to just cut fragrance out of your life. That would be a really good starting place if you wanted something very simple. Just pay attention to the ingredients, look at the back. If you can't find the ingredients, don't buy it. The next thing that I want to kind of go on to is cosmetics. This is really hard for females, and there's not a whole lot of really good options. So all of the brands that I'll link below, you're going to have to look at ingredients and you're going to have to pick and choose where you want to hold firm and where you're going to kind of be like, okay, I don't really have any good options. I'm just going to purchase this. There's one really good brand. It's Jenny McCarthy's brand. They don't have a full line of cosmetic options, but they do have a lot. And one of them is their mascara. I think that if you're going to make the switch, mascara would be a great one to make the switch. And I think hers is a great option. I'll have to link it below. If you don't know her story, it's an amazing story. And there's a couple of other brands that I'll detail below that have pretty clean skincare, and you can just pick and choose where you want to make the changes and how you want to make the change. Where should we start with cosmetics? Mascara would be a place that I would start. Things that go on your eyes, I would kind of start on there. And then I would also do the lips, because you're going to be licking your lips, and whatever is in your lip liners and your lip glosses, you will be consuming. So those are two places that I would start, is your eyes and your lips, and then kind of go from there for everything else. Your skin, it's meant to absorb things. So just be cognizant that whatever you do put on your skin, including your clothes, you will be absorbing what is around, in, and on your skin. Okay, now the last thing we want to tackle, food. How can we get our kitchen clean? I think the first step to clean eating is stop going out to eat. I was kind of flabbergasted when I realized the average American home, how often they eat out. And I'm not talking about like going to a sit-down restaurant. This includes like fast food and stuff like that. And I understand the idea and why fast food and those options are good. We have decision fatigue. Decision fatigue can really bog us down. And we have to make so many decisions in a day already, especially if you work a 9 to 5. And I think if there's one thing in the realm of food that we choose for our body, is that we get very picky. And when you don't get to pick what goes into your body, you don't know what's going into your body. There's not a whole lot of cheap, clean restaurant and fast food out there. So even if it's one day a week, start somewhere. Seed oils is another big one. If there is another area where, if you're good with, not eating out, or you're making that decision, when you do cook at home, eliminating seed oils. What are seed oils? Most of everything that you can find in the grocery store that's processed or not, on the perimeter of your grocery store has seed oil. Canola oil, palm oil, those are seed oils. Those are the most popular. Vegetable oil. You'll see those on the labels. Those are easy to spot. Do not buy something if they have those ingredients. You have to be careful with avocado oil. Everything is nuanced, because sometimes they'll cut the avocado oil with seed oil. So you want to get a good quality avocado oil if you're going to use that. Olive oil is really good. You have to be careful because that's also can be cut with seed oil. So you want a good quality olive oil. I think the olive oil from Costco, the Kirkland brand olive oil, is pretty good. So that's what we use because it's the most cost effective. Also, just switching to butter. And I'm not talking about margarine. I'm not talking about, I can't believe it's not butter. I'm talking about butter, like real butter. And it's hard to have true real butter because everything in the grocery store is going to be pasteurized. And you need to make sure that the cows are grass-fed and grass-finished cows. When we speak about things like consuming animals, the saying that you are what you eat is so true. And the reason why this is because the animal's fat is going to store the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that they consume. And when we consume the animal's fat, we get the benefit of having all of those good things. Or we can have to our dismay, all of the toxins that that animal has consumed that has been stored in their fat. So you need to be very particular. You want to make sure that you're getting a clean brand and it's just made from cream. That's what you want your butter to be made of. Maybe it has salt in it. It may have one other ingredient. We use Kerrygold in our house because I can't get my hands on enough cream to make my own butter. And that's why. Otherwise, I would say make your own butter from real cream. Not from heavy whipping cream from the store that has a ton of other chemicals. You can't get a heavy whipping cream at the store that is not pure enough for me. Maybe once in a while, if you need some heavy whipping cream, fine. And it's not something that you would want to consume regularly. It's just not a wholesome version of cream. Cooking with butter is so important, and not using seed oil. So if you switch to anything, I would recommend butter. And make sure that the ingredients in your butter are cream or salt. And know where they're sourcing their cows. There's a lot. You're like, oh man, I don't want to have to do all this research. I've looked at Kerrygold, and right now for the price point, I'm okay with Kerrygold's butter. The next thing that I would say on your list is the meats. So you really want to make sure that any of your proteins, like your true protein sources, all of those processed meats, you kind of want to stay away from. If you're like, oh man, I have a sandwich every day that I make. I used to do that. The only brand that I truly, truly love right now is Boar's Head. They have the cleanest meats that I can find on the market right now if you're going to do deli meat. Otherwise, you kind of just want to do the whole, you can get a turkey and you can slice your own deli meat and you can cook it. You get the legs, you can get the wings, you can get all of those pieces. Chicken, same thing. But you really do want to try and be as whole as possible. Pay attention to the ingredients. When you're getting like sausages and things like that, they have added ingredients, especially BHT. And that is something that you just need to resolve not to put in your body. But we do want to be cognizant of the types of foods. You always want to go for the grass-fed beef. You always want to go for the pasture-raised chicken and eggs. If you can just start by not eating out and just making that decision and doing that, you're going to feel better over time. Give it a month. Give it 30 days. You're going to feel better. Going to the grocery store is definitely going to be cleaner than going to a restaurant. So hopefully that's given you guys a jumping off point. Hopefully that's given you guys some things to think about and like start paying attention to the sourcing, especially of your food. But if you liked this video and you want more of this type of content, comment, like, subscribe. We're starting to make these videos way more frequently, and we're going to get deeper into some of these options. So I'll go into the body care, skincare, and cosmetics, and then again with the food. Like, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for hanging.